Setting the context for a new real estate investor is key. A lot of investors will come into the business saying, I want to buy something everywhere. The first step is getting them dialed down to a location. It's hard to search over here and over here, especially different states. If you're licensed in Massachusetts, for example, you should be working with clients that are looking to buy in Massachusetts. You can still get referrals for other states, but you should be passing those along and getting the referrals. Now, what cities they work in, it's really important that a real estate alchemist gets good at only a few cities, at least in the beginning. You can expand over time and build a team and have a referral network, but in the beginning, you're going to want to work with key areas that you're very comfortable with. The gateway cities are my preference because I like opportunities that have a lot. I like cities that have a lot of opportunities. And you'll find that the clients you work with also want to invest in areas where the barrier to entry is lower. The cash flow is better. You may work with high-end investors. You may work with low-end investors and anything in between, the A's, B's, and the C's. But it's up to you to pick an area and pick a niche that you're really good at. The other piece is make sure that your niche is something you want to be in. Make sure it's something you want to own. Now, the introductory conversation with a new investor is exactly what I just said to you, but to them. They have to pick one city. They have to pick one city, one style of investment, whether it's multifamilies or single families where they're renting out bedrooms, doors, or they're renting out entire floors and apartments, 3 families, 6 families, 2 families, 6 plus, the larger multifamilies. Are they into commercial? What is their niche and what are they doing? If they can't dial down a city, you shouldn't be shopping them. The other side is getting them pre-approved. If these are first-time investors, new investors, they're likely going to be using owner-occupied products. If they already own a piece of real estate and they're not looking to move into it, they may be working with commercial loans or investment products. These are different conversations. If they're working commercial, they're not going to get a pre-approval, but you can still get an LOI, which is a letter of intent. You can still get proof of funds, which is proof that they have money in their account, just a statement from their bank. These are requirements so that you know that this buyer has the ability to buy. There are 2 requirements to work with a buyer. One is intent. They must have desire to go and purchase an investment property. And 2, they must have the funds to be able to do it. It's your job to pre-qualify your buyers as you're bringing them through the process. Now, it's okay to have relationships and conversations with people who are not ready to buy. That's, in fact, your job. It's your job to educate and inspire people to get them to the level of being able to purchase. But you don't want to show property to somebody who doesn't have the funds and doesn't have the desire, unless you like wasting time, which is perfectly okay if that's a hobby of yours to go and see property. You can bring people along. But eventually, real estate agents, the selling agents, are going to catch on and they're going to ask you to only bring pre-qualified buyers. You want to bring only the best to the table because those are the ones who are going to close. An alchemist is somebody who's paying attention and working with the right people. Who has your money? A buyer who has both the desire and the money to do the deal is the right kind of buyer. They have to know their location, the city that they want to work in, and the type of property they're looking to buy, and they have to have the funds to be able to do these purchases. Now, just because they don't have a down payment doesn't mean that they can't do the purchase. You may have to do a little more work to go and build relationships with their family to give them that money, private money, or borrowing loans. There's a lot of solutions, a lot of no money down programs out there. So you can't just disregard somebody who doesn't have funds, but there may be extra steps. And an alchemist knows that with the right tools at their table, they can do any deal. It's just a matter of training their clients, training your investors to get to the next level. So just because they don't have the funds doesn't mean that they can't get the funds. And you want to learn all the different tools that there are to help them with the funding. Now, to dial them in, a lot of investors come in thinking that they can buy in any location. This is not true. They must know the location very well. There are very few actual investors who stay in the game for a long term who buy all over the place. Most investors pick one city and they do very well in one city for a long period of time. That's where they're going to make the most money, and that's what's going to help you be able to buy. Now, you may find that the buyer has bought in one city and decides they want to do another city later on. That's okay. But for shopping purposes, you want to shop for one particular city. And if they can't dial in on a city, it's not time to go show them property yet.